country lane. Wherever there's a cottage small beside a field of grain, there'll always be an England while there's a busy street. Wherever there's a turning wheel, a million marching feet.
Hello, my name is Luc van Elte and welcome to my editorial report for my research project into British culture. The decision was made to base this research report around the controversial topic of multiculturalism. Every day it seems that every European nation, including Britain, is becoming more diverse and multicultural. The initial impression of the British people regarding this topic was that they certainly wouldn't mind some diversity. However, it seems that a lot of people are being scared by the numbers presented in the demographics. White British have become a minority in London, and the remaining seem to leave en masse. Editor at the BBC Mark Easton writes, "The number of white British people in the capital fell by 620,000, equivalent to the entire population of Glasgow moving out. This is off-putting for a lot of people, which is why Britain has seen a rising number of right-wing nationalist groups appear in the last few years. But there are of course a number of different reasons as to why this happened. To summarize, Brexit caused a lot of people to lose faith in democracy. The BBC and other British news outlets seem to be constantly pushing their agenda into everything they do.
There's no such thing as a pure Brit, despite what some flag wavers would have you believe.
And the ignorance the people supporting multiculturalism display is not doing diversity any favours either. Let's take a look.
So, Yvette Cooper.
Well, Britain's always been a diverse country, and we saw in the Olympics we have people who over very many centuries have come from all over the world to be part of Britain. You go back to the Norman Conquest or the Vikings or the Huguenots or more recent migration, and that's the kind of country we've always been, and I think we should be proud of our diversity.
The Vikings, the Norman Conquest? Comparing recent migration to the Vikings is a bit strange when you are in support of multiculturalism, considering the Vikings were literal invaders. But it brings up an interesting point, that being that even though Britain has always been diverse, historically this was never voluntary. But what do the people that we've interviewed think about this topic? Let's find out. Aaron Lewis Davidson is a man from a remote village in Scotland. When asked about multiculturalism and the effect it has on his culture, he said the following.
On a general consensus, I believe that multiculturalism affects my culture pretty badly, but that's mainly due to the backlash that a lot of multicultures get from my culture. For example, I think Scottish culture isn't very keen towards Muslims and just in general foreigners. Most of them are kind of very angry about sharing rights and sharing assets and stuff about veterans and people who are retired. So just generally, it doesn't really affect us that well, just because of the backlash.
We just say that's like not just for Scotland, but also for the entirety of Britain?
I would say London is a bit more keen to it, and and definitely Edinburgh. But I think in general, from what I know, I believe it's bad all around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's bad. Personally, I don't think it's a bad thing. I enjoy multiculturalism, but the country disagrees with me.
Right. So you agree with multiculturalism in a general sense?
I believe that the world is the world, and wherever you go, that's fine by me.
Okay. Is this good or bad, and why?
I think it's bad mainly because it shuts off a lot of cultures from wanting to come here, and it also just gives the country a pretty bad name. And it's just kind of unfortunate. Their heart's in the right place, but the way they're doing it is kind of wrong. They're fighting for like veteran rights and retirement rights and stuff, but they're doing it by shutting down someone else.
Right.
Which,
yeah.
Instead of bringing people to your low, you you bring them to your up.
Right.
And kind of a weird way of saying it, but basically, don't pull people down with you.
Another British man that wishes to remain anonymous had the following to say about British identity. He seemed knowledgeable about history in particular, so I asked him about the argument a lot of pro-diversity advocates bring up, that being Britain's shady imperialistic past.
You can't be proud of Britain because it's done this, this and this in the past,
Right.
didn't you know? And if you were to ask me the question of, was the British Empire bad? My answer would be, well, it did some bad things, but it also did some good things. It's not black and white. Are we going to hold the Roman Empire to the same standard as we hold the British Empire, despite the clear and obvious advantages that the Roman Empire provided society that we still benefit from today? Are we going to throw all that away because they enjoyed crucifying people from time to time? I don't think so. Secondly, applying modern day ethical and moral standards to people who lived hundreds of years ago is just... I mean, please, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Doing these interviews did not really change what I thought about the subject, but it did change what I think of the British. There are a lot of well-worded individuals I was able to talk to, however for the common man outside of the large cities it seems they know something is wrong with the way multiculturalism is implemented. I believe it is a Dutch stereotype that we are always really bold and just say whatever it is that's bothering us. So in the Netherlands we have a number of outspoken people for or against multiculturalism, and the debate is always ongoing. But for the British there doesn't really seem to be a debate, more just blind acceptance. When British identity was being taught in this course it was great because it was unique, but I fear that the uniqueness will come to an end someday, as will all unique and distinct European cultures, as it will be watered down to appease everyone. This was Luc van Elten's editorial report on British culture. Have a nice day.